They say you can't choose your family, but I never chose to be born to people who looked at me like I was dirt smeared across the kitchen tile. From the moment I got pregnant at 19, the disgust in my mother's eyes cemented itself like stone. My father didn't even say my name for a year, and when my son Caleb was born, my beautiful boy with the softest eyes, they called him It for the first 6 months. "Don't let it cry near my room," Mom would hiss. "I'm not raising garbage again." We lived in the back unit of their house. It was supposed to be temporary, but 5 years later, we were still there. Caleb and I eating scraps while my sister Marnie got steak and wine at every family dinner. I worked night shifts at the grocery store, came home at 5 a.m., slept in shifts, folded laundry in silence while Marnie bragged about dates and spa weekends. I never complained. I just endured for Caleb. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. But last Saturday, it broke something in me. It was our neighborhood's annual block party. Everyone was outside, lights strung between driveways, tables of potluck food, folding chairs dragged onto the front lawn. Caleb had been so excited. He wore his little red hoodie and asked if we could bring the cupcakes we made together. He carried the tray so carefully. When we got outside, Mom was already at the center table pouring wine like she was queen of the cul-de-sac. She saw me and frowned. "You didn't do your hair?" she said loudly. "Jesus, at least pretend you're not the help." I smiled through it. Caleb went around offering cupcakes. Everyone smiled at him, even the neighbors who usually pretended we didn't exist. That made my chest swell a little. My son doing his best to shine. But then Caleb tripped. One of the cupcakes smeared on Mrs. Neely's skirt. Before I could even step forward to clean it up, my mother's hand was already out. Crack. The sound was sharper than I ever remembered. Caleb stumbled back, clutching his cheek, blinking fast. There was frosting on his face. And my mother? She leaned down, grabbed his little hoodie by the collar, and hissed loud enough for half the neighborhood to hear. "Trash deserve it." And just like that, she let go of him and walked back to the dessert table. She grabbed a slice of pie, took a bite. People stood frozen. Then they laughed. Marnie clapped slowly. "That's how you handle kids these days," she said. "Spare the rod, spoil the leech." I was shaking. Caleb wasn't crying. Not yet. He was stunned, red blooming on his cheek. And I felt something snap clean in half. I stepped forward, scooped him up, and turned to my mother. "Are you proud of yourself?" She didn't even turn. "Don't make a scene," she said. "You're lucky we even let you two be seen." They were already passing around dessert like it was a joke. Pie, brownies, ice cream, like nothing happened. Like a 5-year-old hadn't just been slapped by his own grandmother in front of 20 people. My father arrived 10 minutes later and asked, "What did the brat do this time?" Marnie laughed. "Nothing. He just breathed wrong." That night, I didn't sleep. I sat beside Caleb's bed and watched his tiny chest rise and fall. His face was swollen, his eyes puffy, but he still held the last untouched cupcake in his hand. "Mommy," he whispered, "did I make Grandma mad?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "No, baby. She made herself mad." And that night, I stopped being the silent daughter. I stopped enduring. I stopped folding my pain into corners, because the dessert wasn't the last sweet thing they'd ever eat. The next time they put something in their mouths, it'd leave a taste they'd never forget. The next morning, I called out of work for the first time in over a year. I wasn't sick, but something inside me was rotting. I didn't eat. I didn't speak to anyone. I just watched Caleb drag his toy truck along the windowsill while a bruise darkened under his eye like a cruel reminder. Every time I looked at it, something deeper cracked. At noon, Marnie texted, "Don't take it personally. Mom was being funny. You're just too sensitive." 10 minutes later, Mom followed up with a voice note. "Tell the boy to grow thicker skin. I barely touched him. Drama must be genetic." I played it once, then again, then again. And then I started packing. Not our clothes, not Caleb's toys, but my journals. Every single diary I'd written since I was 13. Every time they hit me, shoved me, called me names. Every time they forgot to feed me. Every time they humiliated me at Marnie's parties, called me the unplanned one, told guests I was a trial baby. Every time they snatched food off my plate because you should be grateful we even bought it. I opened the box under my bed. Inside, Caleb's hospital records from when he was 1 and had bronchitis so bad he nearly collapsed. Mom refused to take us, said, "If he's that weak, maybe nature's doing us a favor." I'd walked 5 blocks in freezing rain to get him help. I kept the discharge paper. That week, I stopped speaking to them. They didn't notice. They sent one more message 2 days later. "Are you over your tantrum yet? We need you to babysit Marnie's dog while she travels, and bring some of those cupcakes. They were tolerable." Tolerable. Like we were a product. Something to tolerate. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied, "Sure, I'll bring something sweet." I didn't mean cupcakes. The block was planning a second neighborhood party that weekend, a smaller one. Potluck again. I offered to host the dessert table. "To make up for the mess last time," I'd said with a sweet, even tone. Mom texted back, "Good girl, knew you'd fall in line." That was their mistake. The night before the party, I didn't bake cupcakes. I baked memory. I printed photos from Caleb's first Christmas, the one where they refused to hold him. I printed a picture of his bruised arm from when he fell down the stairs they never fixed because he should watch where he walks. I found my journal entry from the night Dad told me I was only born because Mom forgot her pills and thought it'd be rude to abort again. I made little cards, handwritten notes from their greatest hits, and I placed each one inside a decorative cupcake box. The next morning, I got Caleb dressed and kissed his cheek. But this time, I didn't take him with me. He stayed with Ms. Esther, the retired teacher down the street who always gave him lemon drops and called him the best little gentleman. I arrived early, set the dessert table. I laid out 20 cupcake boxes tied with satin ribbon, each one hiding a dose of truth wrapped in glitter. Then I waited. The neighbors came first. Marnie in heels, holding her phone up for selfies. Mom wearing a new scarf, waving like she was being filmed. Dad opened a beer before noon and winked at one of the younger women. They didn't ask where Caleb was. Of course they didn't. Mom walked up, sneered at the table. "You actually tried this time," she said. "Good. Apologize through baking. That's your role." She lifted one of the boxes and read the tag, "From our family to yours." Then she opened it. She pulled out the card, unfolded it. Her smile dropped. "I begged you not to scream so loud the night you bled on the carpet. Your father was watching his show." Her lips parted. She opened the second box. "When Marnie pushed you down the stairs, we told the ER you were clumsy, but you always were such a liar." I watched her pupils shrink. One by one, the neighbors opened the boxes. Silence bloomed like wildfire. Marnie read her note aloud by accident. "We chose you because you were prettier. She's just a sack of depression and bad choices." She looked up, mouth half open. Dad stormed toward me. "What the hell is this?" I didn't move. I stood by the table. "It's dessert," I said. "You like sweet things, right?" "You think this is funny?" "No, but you did." I took out my phone. Pressed play. Caleb's voice played through the speaker. "Mommy, did I make Grandma mad?" Then the crack of the slap, her whisper. "Trash deserve it." The neighbors stood frozen. Someone muttered, "Did she really say that?" Another, "I thought they were just strict." Then a whisper, "That's abuse." Dad grabbed the speaker and threw it. "Enough!" Mom screamed. "You'll regret this, you ungrateful little mistake." But I was already walking away. Because I hadn't come to fight. I'd come to show them exactly what they raised. And they weren't clinking glasses anymore. They were choking on silence. By the time the whispers turned into shouts, I was already halfway down the street. I didn't run. I walked, slow, steady, like every step was reclaiming a piece of myself they'd stolen. Behind me, I could still hear the chaos. Marnie yelling, Mom gasping, Dad shouting something about defamation. But what could they possibly defend now? Their masks had melted in front of everyone who used to adore them. I turned the corner and saw Ms. Esther's house. Caleb was sitting on her porch swing, holding a cup of lemonade with both hands. When he saw me, he smiled, that small, unbroken smile that had survived every cruelty I couldn't stop. "Hey, baby," I said softly, kneeling down. "You okay?" He nodded. "Did Grandma like your cupcakes?" I smiled faintly. "She got a taste of them." He giggled, not knowing what those words meant. Maybe it was better that way. I sat beside him on the swing. The afternoon breeze carried laughter, not from my mother's yard, but from the neighbors' houses on the other side. Laughter that wasn't cruel. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like a shadow standing outside someone else's story. I felt present, seen, whole. The next day, the videos started spreading. One of the neighbors, a woman I barely knew, had filmed everything. The notes, the recordings, the slap replayed over the speaker. She uploaded it anonymously to a local community page. Within hours, everyone in our town had seen it. The woman who prided herself on reputation, who bragged about charity dinners and perfect family values, was suddenly the face of a monster in pearls. Mom called me 26 times that week. I didn't answer once. Marnie sent one message: "You destroyed us." I typed back, "You destroyed yourselves." Then blocked her. I moved 2 towns over with Caleb, found a small apartment with peeling paint and noisy pipes. But it was ours. No insults echoing through the walls, no footsteps of judgment, just peace and the sound of my son humming while drawing on the kitchen floor. I got a job at a cafe, then another one at a library. Saved slowly. Every paycheck, every shift, every ounce of sleep I lost rebuilding, I remembered one thing. I didn't escape a family. I escaped a curse. Months passed before I heard from anyone again. One afternoon, the mailman dropped a cream envelope into my box. No return address. Inside was a folded piece of paper and a photo. The photo was of my mother sitting alone at a cafe table. Eyes red, makeup smeared. The note read, "They stopped coming. No one talks to me now. The neighbors cross the street when they see me. Are you happy?" I read it twice, then set it down beside my coffee. I didn't feel happy. Not exactly, but I felt clean. I wrote back one line on the same paper. "You beat a child and called it discipline. You humiliated me and called it love. What did you think would grow from that?" I folded it, sealed it, and sent it. Back. No return address this time either. Weeks later, I saw a for sale sign in front of my parents' house, the curtains drawn, the yard empty. The family that mocked me for being poor, small, and worthless. Gone. Caleb and I baked cupcakes again that night. He sprinkled too many stars on top, laughing as sugar coated his fingers. "Do you think Grandma would like these?" he asked innocently. I kissed his forehead. "No, sweetheart," I said. "These are for people who know kindness tastes better." We sat together on the kitchen floor, eating cupcakes under the glow of the fridge light. Outside, the night was quiet. Inside, the silence was peace. The kind that doesn't ask for forgiveness or apology. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like trash. I felt like someone who'd finally taken out the garbage and left it exactly where it belonged. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.